Hello everyone, welcome to the Calm Learner. In today's video, we will cover chapter 3 and chapter 4 of NCERT class 6 geography. These two these two chapters are very important because they help us understand day and night, seasons, time and also how to read maps which we use almost every day. So, first we will understand how the earth moves and how these important movements affect our daily life, and then we will move to maps where we will learn about how the earth is represented on a paper in a scientific way. So, let us begin with chapter 3, motions of the earth. So, what do we mean by motions of the earth? The earth is never stationary, it is always moving, and these movements are called the motions of the earth. There are two main motions, rotation and revolution. Both are extremely important to understand day and night, seasons, and time. So, let us understand them one by one. Ro- Rotation means the earth spins on its own axis. Imagine a straight line passing through the earth from the north pole to the south pole. This imaginary line is called the axis of the earth. So the earth rotates on this axis from west to east. One complete rotation of earth takes 24 hours, and this rotation causes day and night. Now let us understand a very important concept related to day and night, which is called the circle of illumination. So, the circle of illumination is an imaginary line on the earth. This line divides the earth into two equal halves. One half of the earth is bright, where the sunlight is falling, and other half is dark, where sunlight does not reach. The brighter part experiences day, and the dark part experiences night. Now, look at this diagram carefully. You can see that the sun illuminates only one half of the earth at a time. The line that separates the illuminated part from the dark part is called the circle of illumination. Now, this line is not fixed. It keeps changing its position because the earth is continuously rotating on its axis. So, because of this continuous rotation, day and night do not remain at one place. As the earth rotates from west to east, the circle of illumination also moves, and different parts of the earth come under daylight and darkness. That is why day follows night and night follows day. Now, let us move on to the second motion, that is revolution. Revolution means the earth moves around the sun in a fixed path called an orbit. The earth takes 365 days and 6 hours to complete one revolution around the sun. Now, while discussing the revolution of the earth, there is one very important term that we must clearly understand, and that is the elliptical orbit. Now, the earth does not move around the sun in a perfect circle. Instead, it follows a slightly oval shaped path, which is called an elliptical orbit. This fixed path along which the earth revolves around the sun is known as the orbit of the earth. Now, look at this diagram very carefully. You will notice that the sun is not exactly at the center of this orbit. It is located slightly towards one side. Because of this elliptical shape, the distance between the earth and the sun keeps changing during the year. There are two important positions of the earth in its elliptical orbit. When the earth is closest to the sun, this position is called perihelion. This usually occurs around early January. And when the earth is farthest away from the sun, this position is called aphelion. This usually occurs around early July. We will discuss more about perihelion and aphelion in the further classes. For now, this much information is okay. Now, while studying the revolution of the earth, we said that the earth takes 365 days and 6 hours to complete one revolution around the sun. But when we look at our calendar, we usually see only 365 days in a year. So the question is, what happens to these extra 6 hours every year? So these extra 6 hours do not disappear. Instead, they are added year after year. After every 4 years, we add one extra day to the calendar, and this extra day is added to the month of February. and February has 29 days instead of 28 days. So such a year is called a leap year. So remember, a normal year has 365 days and a leap year has 366 days. The extra day is added to adjust our calendar with Earth's revolution around the sun. Now, the Earth does not stand straight while rotating or revolving. Its axis is tilted, as we have discussed in earlier classes. So, the Earth's axis is tilted by 23.5 degrees from the vertical. Now, this tilt remains constant throughout the year where Earth revolves around the Sun. Now, the tilt of the Earth also explains change in length of the day and night, occurrence of solstice and equinox, which we will read now, in the next slides, seasonal variation in temperature. So, remember this very clearly. Tilt of the Earth plus revolution causes seasons. So, if the Earth were not tilted, every place would have equal day and night, and there would be no seasons. Climate would remain almost the same throughout the year. Now, if we discuss why do seasons occur, so seasons occur due to revolution of the Earth and the tilt of Earth's axis, which is 23.5 degrees. So, because of this tilt, different parts of the Earth receive unequal sunlight. This leads to summer, winter, spring, and autumn. And if the earth were not tilted, there would be no seasons. Now, if we discuss about summer and winter or the seasons, so when the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun, it receives more direct sunlight and experiences summer. And at the same time, southern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, so it receives less sunlight and experiences winter. And after 6 months, the situation is reversed. Now let's see UPSC's favorite topic, that is solstice and equinoxes. First, let us understand solstice. So on 21st June, the northern hemisphere receives maximum sunlight. This day is called summer solstice and it is the longest day in the northern hemisphere. On 22nd December, the northern hemisphere receives the least sunlight, and this day is called the winter solstice and it is the shortest day. Now, if we talk about equinox, there are two special days in a year, 21st March and 23rd September. On these days, day and night are equal over the earth. This happens because the sun shines directly on the equator. These days are called equinoxes. Now we have understood rotation and revolution separately. So let us now compare the two so that the difference becomes very clear in your mind. So first, let us talk about rotation. Rotation is the spinning of the earth on its own axis. The earth rotates from west to east and one complete rotation takes 24 hours. And day and night are caused because of rotation. So remember, rotation is related to daily changes. Now let us come to revolution. Revolution is the movement of the earth around the sun in an elliptical orbit. One complete revolution takes 365 days and 6 hours, which is, you can also say, 365 days and plus 1/4 day. Because of revolution, seasons occur. Revolution is related to yearly changes. Now let's look at some PYQs asked in UPSC. Now if we look at the PYQs, we can see that UPSC has in the recent years has asked questions from the solstice topic, and the questions are, first, it is from UPSC CSE 2024. It's on June 21 every year. Which of the following latitudes experiences sunlight of more than 12 hours? First option is equator, second is Tropic of Cancer, third is Tropic of Capricorn, and fourth is Arctic Circle. Now, if we look at the solution of this PYQ, we can say that on 21st June, all the places north of the equator receive sunlight more than 12 hours. So, as we move further north, the length of the day keeps increasing, especially from the Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degrees north, up to Arctic Circle, which is 66.5 degrees north. Days are longer than 12 hours. Beyond the beyond the Arctic Circle, the sun does not set at all, which is known as the phenomenon you might know as the midnight sun. So the answer for this PYQ would be D, 2 and 4, because the Tropic of Cancer and Arctical Circle, from Tropic of Cancer till Arctic Circle, the latitudes experience sunlight of more than 12 hours. So answer would be D. Now the next PYQ is from 2022 UPSC CSC. That is, in the northern hemisphere, the longest day of the year normally occurs in the. This question is also related to summer solstice. So the answer would be B, second half of the month of June. As we have discussed, the summer solstice occur on June 21 normally. Now let us move on to chapter 4, maps. Firstly, for UPSC, you should understand the maps are not important for theory, but they are extremely important as a tool for map reading, location based questions, and marking practice. So think of this chapter as a tool, not a theory chapter. So we will study this chapter briefly but clearly, focusing on concepts that helps in map reading and marking rather than memorizing definitions. Now let us understand what is map. So the earth is very large and round. It is not possible to carry a globe everywhere. So to make our study easier, we draw the earth or a part of it on a flat paper. This drawing is called a map. A map is a representation of earth's surface on a paper. Now, maps help us locate places, understand natural and political features, study geography in a simple and visual manner, and without maps, studying geography would be very difficult. Now, if we look at types of maps, there are three main types of maps. That is physical maps, which show natural features of the earth or any part of it. Political maps, which shows boundaries and capitals of different states and countries. Then there's thematic maps, which are based on some specific data. Now let us look at this different types of map and their differences. So first, physical maps. These maps show natural features like mountains, rivers, plateaus, and plains. Second is political maps. These maps show countries, states, capitals, and boundaries. And third are thematic maps, which show specific information such as rainfall, crops, and industries. You can study their differences in this slide and take a screenshot of it. Now, every map has three essential components. First is distance, also called scale, then there's direction, and then there is symbols. Now, let us understand them one by one. So, first distance, which is also called as scale. So, the scale tells us how much distance on the ground is represented by a distance on the map. Second is direction. So most maps show north at the top, which helps us find locations accurately. Directions help us understand the locations in an accurate manner. Now symbols. The symbols are small drawings used to show real features like roads, railways, and schools and rivers. Now, while studying maps, we often come across two terms, plan and sketch. Many, many of us get confused between the two, so let us understand the difference very clearly. First, let us talk about plan. A plan is a detailed drawing of a small area, such as a classroom, a school building, a house, a playground. So, a plan is drawn using proper measurements and a fixed scale. This means that distance is shown accurately, proportions are maintained, directions are correct. So, a plan is scientific and accurate. Now, let us understand what the sketch is. So, sketch is a rough drawing of an area. It is usually drawn from a memory or an observation. Now, a sketch does not use a scale, it is not very accurate, and it gives only a general idea of the place. For example, if you draw the way from your house to school to explain it to a friend, then drawing it is a sketch. Now, this wraps up our chapter 3 and 4, the movements of the earth, that helps us understand day night, seasons, and changes in sunlight. And chapter 4, maps, which shows earth on paper using scale, direction, and symbols for easy understanding. Now, these concepts form the base of geography and are important for exams and daily life. We will continue with the next chapter, that is chapter 5, major domains of the earth, in the next video. Like, share, subscribe to the Calm Learner. Thank you for watching.